Brazilian president refuses to come to Russia at Putin's invitation.
Here's a summary of the article.
Your personal data will be processed and information from your device may be stored by, accessed by and shared with third-party vendors, or used specifically by this site or app. Some vendors may process your personal data on the basis of legitimate interest, which you can object to by managing your options below.
This post received a score of 24,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Maybe there's a table long enough they can both sit at it without either having to travel.
How's the soup?
I love that scene.
The suits of armor scared the shit out of me as a kid no matter how many times I watched it.
Oh, you mean, the king of the wicker people. Same here.
They picked the best picture like he's contemplating what would happen to him if he went.
Greater than like he's contemplating what would happen to him if we went. He couldn't hold me against my will, could he? Now we're homies.
Shitting BRICS.
Explaining the joke for the dear readers unfamiliar.
Greater than BRIC is a grouping acronym referring to the developing countries of Brazil, Russia, India, and China, which are identified as rising economic powers. So then what is Russia doing on the list then LMAO?
Ha ha, when the term was coined Russia's economy was rising.
Or were they just pretending again? Like they have been with their military capabilities. It also seems there's lots of pretending going on with the might behind these rising economies.
The term BRICS was coined in the early 2000s, so yes, their economy was improving. The 90s were a rough time for Russia, with the post-USSR transition from communism to capitalism. A lot of their economic improvement was driven by the rise in oil prices. Arguably, without the corruption and random kleptocracy rampant in Russia, it would have improved even more, judging by comparisons of living standard improvements in RU versus other post-Soviet states.
You misspelled, transition from communism to kleptocracy. Nah, communism to capitalism was the economic transition. Arguably the political one was from one kleptocracy to another, and considering the way to become an oligarch was to already have corruption money when everything went on sale for cheap. Arguably it's the same kleptocracy.
He's allergic to tea in windows.
The meeting was to be held in Russia's tallest tea house. On the balcony with a stunning view, of course. The view from the Infinity Terrace at the Polonium Estates Tea Garden is just to die for. He doesn't like the tea?
I know this is a reference to polonium being slipped into someone's tea, but I also think of the scene from Hunt for Red October where Sean Connery makes it look like Ivan Putin, lol who knew that, slipped on his tea.
I don't think I'll ever understand how someone went to cast a Russian submarine commander and landed on Sean Connery. Michael fucking Sarah could probably play a more convincing Russian.
Brazil doesn't really care about Russia. China is the country they're allying with. They are very skeptical of any kind of alliance with Western powers, which makes sense when you consider the history they and other Central, South American countries have with, in particular the USA. China, for example, is an enormous trading partner for Brazilian soy production, and Brazil's nationalized oil company Petrobras trades a not insignificant amount of oil with China. To think, if we hadn't been regime-changing, torture-endorsing meddlesome dicks for decades, allying with our southern neighbors would likely be so much easier.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.